Hey, Geoff.
Hey, Kelly.
Here we are.
Yep, this is Blueprints for Belonging.
Yeah.
We will be exploring how to build conscious connection in a disconnected world.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, well, I think it is, but
I think so too.
we're here to bring everybody else along.
I mean, you're just an architect. You know, you're this. Well, sorry, not
I'm
just an architect.
Oh my
Pardon
God.
me. You're a recovering architect,
That's right.
and you used to design beautiful structures. They were just absolutely wonderful. And
That's awfully nice of you to say, but I don't know that you've ever seen any of
I
my
never
structures.
saw any of your structures.
Right, then how can you say they're beautiful?
Because I know you. You don't build anything that's not beautiful.
Yeah. The thing is, in the world of architecture, it's not just the architect.
That's right, because other people want things designed their certain way.
Right. So
Right.
there's the client that
Right.
insists it be this way or that way.
Right.
And then there's your boss who wants to put his stamp on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the engineers just try to cram it into whatever envelope you give them.
Tell me more about, like, how do you start building a building? What do you have to do?
What comes first?
Yes. Did the plans come first, or?
Yes, plans come first.
Mm-hmm.
And you do everything from bottom to top and all the details in between.
So what's the bottom?
The bottom is the foundation.
So why is that so important?
Well, because that's what the building sits on.
Well,
So you do groundwork. In the beginning on a site, you do groundwork and then you lay your foundation, which is concrete and steel. And you have pilings that might go down really deep because of the soil conditions.
like here in Houston, because we have
very
sandy,
compressive soil.
yeah.
And it bends under the weight of a building.
especially if you make a tall building.
Oh, well, yeah. No, you got to have some big piles going down. Yeah.
Well, you know, you being an architect is kind of like building life. We don't really have a blueprint for life. You know what I mean?
Right. It's very different from life in
Right.
that respect because, yeah, we have plans for every eventuality in architecture.
Right.
And nobody gave us any plans for designing our lives.
No. But what would you say would be the foundation for a good life structure? I have an idea, but I'm going to hear what you have to say.
Oh, boy. Well, okay, thinking about when I was a little boy, the things that I would have loved to have been taught to make my journey easier as an adult would be open-minded conversations, asking me open-ended questions, please, and let me ask those of you, and a sense of belonging within your family or within your school, if you can do it. The thing is, I mean, you could argue that when I was really little, I was my most authentic self.
Before you turn 6.
Right. And then you spend your whole life trying to assimilate.
Right.
And fit in with groups and belong to those groups. Yeah.
And if you're weird.
If you're weird, well, you have a lot fewer friends to choose from, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of see part of belonging is our communication skills.
Well, indeed.
Yeah, I think that's our first part of our structure for us belonging. Like if you're over in Spain, if you don't know Spanish, it's kind of hard to fit in. It'll take a little while for you to learn the language, right?
Yeah.
Or even if you're not from Texas, we'll forgive you.
Well, my Spanish is not even conversational.
No, mine not either. Un poquito.
and I've lived here most of my life.
Right. But in part of what we're doing together, like you've built solid foundations for the people that you've made some homes for, or buildings for them. And that's kind of what I do in my work. I'm trying to help people build those solid foundations in their addictive recovery. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult because there's not a lot of good communication skills out there. And that's what I started to notice when I've been a drug counselor for the past 20-something years. So what I noticed was that a lot of my clients did not have the communication skills to connect with each other. Mm-hmm. And the one common thing that helped them connect with each other was drinking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's destructive.
That was the easiest way, right? So.
Yeah. So that must be difficult, though, because you're trying to basically establish decent foundations for them so they can build their life over again on top of it. Because they're all starting from different starting points, right?
Different starting places.
They might be 25, they might be 35, they might be 40. Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to give people who haven't had decent foundation a new foundation to work with.
In the architectural world, what would that be like? What would you have to do if you had a home or a building that needed to have some structural
that maybe had foundation problems?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, I grew up in a neighborhood like that. Mm-hmm. Because every house had to have foundation work. Because they were all slab on grade and built in the 1950s when they just thought that was the cheapest way to do it. They weren't thinking, oh, we need rebar in those slabs. So
metaphorically, what would be the rebarb for our world in connecting?
Well, rebarb offers flexibility in an otherwise compressive strength material, which is concrete. It's great in compression, but steel is good in tension. And so you combine the two to bolster your foundation. So if communication is the concrete, what is the rebar?
Skills?
That's the conscious skills that go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you tensile and adaptable.
What do you think those skills might be?
Oh. Well, don't you have a framework called BIG?
Big growth, right?
Big growth.
Right, it's an acronym, right?
Right. Oh, it's an acronym.
It's an acronym, I know. I like using acronyms. People can remember them easier when I tell you.
Tell me
so
a bit about
BIG
it.
is an acronym for building awareness. And the I is for investigating meaning. And the G is for generating choice. And we all are doing this growth in our world. So anyway, that's kind of what I use.
So everybody is doing that kind of growth in
Yes, everybody's doing growth.
Even without awareness?
Even without awareness.
Wow.
Because sometimes those happen to people and then they are like, it's happening to them. They're not aware of it, but it's still going to happen to them. Like my granddaughter, she grew 4 inches and she didn't even know she had grown 4 inches.
Well, right.
Right. So we can still do that growth. It's part of our world or our lives is to kind of pay attention to that growth.
Right. And if you're paying attention to it and doing it intentionally, then it will go faster.
It'll go faster. Absolutely.
Right. Otherwise, it'll just sort of happen.
Right. So anyway, our blueprints for our belonging, why we wanted to start this podcast was kind of something similar like this, right? Don't you think it's more trying to help our communities
communicate better.
Communicate better, right?
Right. Stop ghosting each other. Stop yelling at each other because your ideas are not being received when they're negative yelling. And it just doesn't work. So we want everybody to be able to communicate.
How did you become an architect?
Well, I kind of felt like it was what I needed to do. I was designing house plans from the age of 8. And I took some courses in high school which followed that path. And then I graduated and went to school for architecture.
So when a person decides to become an architect, they have to learn some certain things?
Oh, well, yeah.
What do they have to learn?
Spatial relationships and all sorts of things.
That can apply.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to practice them over and over when you're drawing them, right?
Yeah,
to get better at it.
Yeah, you build models in school,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Right. So we could do the same thing with building models with those would be kind of some of our relationship scenarios that we might build with people.
Right.
Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work.
Uh-huh.
I've had several that didn't work.
Right. Well, that's
Yeah.
the place to figure it out,
Yeah.
is in school. Because when you get in the real world, they don't like it when they don't work.
Yeah. They tend to ghost you.
Yeah, exactly. You no longer work here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Yeah. So we both have met through another organization called We Practice Life.
Mm-hmm.
Share a little bit about what that is.
Well, you asked me earlier if there was a point in my life where I really felt like I belonged.
Mm-hmm.
And my response was, well, when I joined We Practice Life,
Mm-hmm.
which was much later in life. When I was a child, I found surrogate families in my neighbors because my family wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, I joined a group of friends that I maintained a friendship with for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, only to realize that it was a nest of narcissists. And quickly, over about a year, I said, no, can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then at about that time, I found We Practice Life. And I had been already following Brooke, who started it, for a few years at that point. But We Practice Life offers connection and community like nothing else that I've ever experienced. And that's where we met.
Can you give a
actually.
little bit of an example of what that looks like?
Well, they do healing circles.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me what a healing circle is.
Well, it's not necessarily called a healing circle. Sometimes it's an art circle, or sometimes it's a poetry circle where we might...
So you're coming together as a group.
We come together as a group, and often there's a prompt given, which we either create a piece of art with that, or we might do blackout poetry, which is where you black out the words, except for the words that you like or that mean something to you.
This is on a page of...
On a written
page, right.
book, yeah. And then we share about what we created. And that's where the magic happens. That is what I love about We Practice Life.
Share a little bit more about I don't want to call them rules, but the kind of the guidelines that they had.
The structure
that they had of it.
Yeah, well, they have agreements that are read at the beginning of every circle or event. And the sorts of things that the agreements say is that everything that is mentioned here in the circle is considered, what's the word?
Not private.
It's like private. Oh my God.
Okay, we're old.
Brain fart.
Right.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Confidential.
Everything is to remain confidential. We expect that the power of silence is what we need to move forward in anything that's going on with us. And we do not presume to advise or fix
the other
people. So when we share, there's no, oh, I think you ought to try this, to fix that in your life. It's...
Or this is how I did it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, this worked for me. Well, that's nice, but I don't really want to hear that. Actually, so this is a bit of a story, sorry. But when my sister was diagnosed with dementia, it took me a while, but I eventually sought out a support group. And I found one through AFTD, which is the American Foundation for
Dementia.
FTD. FTD is a specific type of dementia, so frontal temporal dementia. or degeneration, is depending on who's saying it. And so I found a support group through them, and I went to one. It was all online, right? Everything is online now, right? So this is online, and I met with them once, and that was all. Because in that one time, someone tried to advise me, oh, this works for me, do this, and I was just turned off completely. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I signed up for a Healing Circles Global group about being caretakers for family. Mm-hmm. And that I still belong to. Even though my sister has since passed away in April, mm-hmm. I still belong to that group because that is a true healing circle.
So they were giving more of empathy and understanding.
Right.
Versus telling you advice and how to do it. And mm-hmm. and a lot of people are not aware because we have a lot of models of that. Mm-hmm. We think that's how you're supposed to do it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
If I can't offer anything, then what good am I?
What good am I? Right. Right. Or I offered this and you didn't do it.
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you again.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And you deserve this because you didn't listen to my advice.
And why I think that the mm-hmm. sharing part of we practice life circles mm-hmm. is so wonderful is because you never know when what you have to say about what's going on in your life is going to resonate with anyone else in that circle.
Right.
And it almost always does
mm-hmm.
with someone. Mm-hmm. And something somebody else says resonates with you, and you're just like, you have your own aha moment right then and there.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And that's what keeps me going to We Practice Life Circles.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is. And it was a great replacement for a friend group full of narcissists. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yuck. Mm. Yeah, and a little bit about me. My family had a couple narcissists in it, so that's why
that's why it felt so much like family. That's why that
group felt like
mm-hmm.
family to me. Yeah, mm-hmm. But 30 years later, I'm like, ooh, yuck.
Well, the other thing that we have in common is nonviolent communication. Both mm-hmm. you and I are board members of a group called Power of Compassion. Mm-hmm. It's the Texas Network of Compassionate Communication.
Right.
And we have workshops that we help other people learn a little bit more about communication skills. And there's this nonviolent communication is built off of Marshall Rosenberg's work, Nonviolent Communication.
Right.
And he has there's just a little shortcut here, but it's called OFNR. So O is for observation, F is for feeling, N is for need, and R is for request. And so if we have a situation, we come up with the observation first, mm-hmm. not the assumption. The assumption sounds something like,
or the evaluation.
Or the evaluation sounds like, you're such a jerk. Right. The observation might be, I noticed that when the door slammed, mm-hmm. What would have happened? But
well, right. She's walking backwards into this, and it's like, I don't know what to say.
Right. But anyway, so then the feeling might have been, I was scared or nervous,
right?
Because I had a need for security or respect. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes the request might be sounding something like, I just want to make sure you're aware that I was a little afraid about the door slamming. I'm wondering if would you willing to close the door softly?
Right.
Right. Forward. So that's kind of what that sounds like. Anyway, so we've been in practice groups before, Geoff and I. And so that's another way we know each other.
Right. So. Yes, because we both firmly believe in nonviolent communication mm-hmm. skills and that mm-hmm. we should share them wide and far.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you my granddaughter, when she was really young, I started teaching her nonviolent communication?
No.
Yeah.
Olivia, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yep. One day her mother called me and said, "Oh my God, Olivia told me," she says, she needed to clean up her room or whatever. She was supposed to pick up her toys. And what I hear you saying, Mom, is you are frustrated because you want me to pick up my toys. You need it to be clean.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. And that is the sponge of a little girl.
I was a little girl. If a little girl can do it, right?
Yeah,
she can
if she can do it, then you can do it.
Right, you can do it. So anyway, just fun little things like that, just helping people learn. And I have good friends. I have a friend who has some difficulty with not being able to see his kids, and he doesn't have the skills that he needs to be able to communicate in a way that feels love and inviting for them. So sometimes it turns into a fight, And anyway, so sometimes this lack of skill is hard because here we are as adults and we don't want to have to go and learn something new and have to take the time to practice it, Well,
and looking within and becoming aware of ourselves and our own behaviors, as well as becoming, therefore, aware of all the behaviors around us.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
But it's well worth the journey, I got to tell you.
Well, just like for you. I mean, I asked you, I'm an artist, and I asked Geoff if he would like to make a bird with me. And he said he couldn't do that. He was not that talented, or not that he couldn't make a bird.
Right. I don't know how to make a bird.
Right. And this is a 3D bird. So he came over to my studio and
she gave me all the materials I needed to make it and showed me how to do it.
And it was beautiful. It's the most beautiful bird I've ever seen.
Oh, please.
Oh, yes, it is. It lights up. It's just beautiful.
Oh, that's because I have lights on it. But
okay. Yeah, but it's still beautiful.
They're not built in.
No, but it's beautiful.
That would be really cool for one of my birds.
Well, okay, good. So that's the next one.
Because I'm making
more to
other birds.
Right. But, you had this vision that you couldn't do something because you didn't know how. But my grandmother told me when I was much younger, when I was trying to learn how to draw, there's nothing you cannot do. Somebody just has to show you how first. And I think that's what we're here. We're here to show y'all how to have more connected relationships with each other. Belonging is one of those things that's really difficult. Being a kid and moving a lot as a kid, there's a lot of places I didn't belong, and I got shunned, belittled, made fun of, ignored, bullied. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, and that is exactly what we want to do. We want to give people the tools to have more conscious relationships with the people around them, in their families, in their church, in their work, in their schools, because we can see the benefit of having these skills, and they're not. They're not hard. It's not rocket science.
No, they're not hard. It just takes time.
Yeah,
and it takes practice. And as a creative person, practice is one of the hardest things for creatives to do because it's going to take time. And finding a partner to practice with. That's why we practice live, and then the other NVC groups that are here in Houston, and actually all over the state of Texas, that we can practice these connection skills with each other. And we can learn from each other what's working and what's not working. So.
Because we are all in the same boat. We all grew up without any instructions.
No blueprints.
No blueprints for figuring out how to have decent relationships.
Right. And so in some ways, that's what we're creating here, some blueprints, metaphorically.
For people to use to gain their footing in this world of intentional relationships and conscious conversations.
When you said that you had that relationship with your friends and it didn't feel like you belonged, what was the impetus for you to go and search for other people to belong with? Did something happen, or you don't have to give the whole story, but what was the...
It didn't really happen like that.
Okay.
so the joining We Practice Life happened at the same time as I was realizing that this group of friends was no longer serving me. And so I was going to have to get rid of them. And they were a big group of people. And we had regular events every year that we would go to together and we would partake in together. And I remember Brooke was having a retreat at Camp Allen. And that weekend was the first Sugarloaf that I missed. Sugarloaf was an annual camping event that this group would have. It took place at a place called Sugarloaf originally. But then it moved, but maintained the name. So, I remember writing in my journal at that retreat, being so overjoyed that I replaced that group of friends with this group of friends. Yeah, it was so gratifying.
I guess you felt a deeper connection.
Absolutely. No, just any connection. I had connection and community with We Practice Life.
So we talked a little bit about belonging, and there's some certain feelings that we have that go with belonging. Do you have any of those feelings that might connect with belonging?
Well, belonging helps me feel safe and heard and seen, which is what most people are missing these days. They don't feel heard and seen, and that results in sour communication. And I think that's generally the things that I found through that genuine sense of belonging that I never found anywhere else.
Anywhere with your other friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's because these people will listen to me, and I can tell that they see me because of their responses, and they are actually listening to me when I talk, which you think is easy. No, most people don't do it. And being seen and heard come with the feeling of safety, because you feel safe in that group. And
you've shared too about there was some crucial conversations that you've had.
Well, I've broken up with plenty of boyfriends.
But share about that book, Crucial Conversations.
So you'll have to remind me of who wrote it because I'm bad about that. But it's called Crucial Conversations.
Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High.
Yeah. That's Carrie Patterson and Joseph Greaney, or right. Graney, Ron McMillan, and Al Schweitzer, the 4 guys that wrote this book.
Yep.
Yep.
And they wrote it. They first came out in 2002.
Yep,
and
that's
it's
right. Yep. Still
out
relevant,
there,
right?
And still relevant. Oh, right. It'll always be relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that book is.
Well, we have it for a lot of it is about conflict.
Well, it is, but it's
helping people.
It's not even just open conflict. It's how to avoid conflict in conversations. It shows you how to have a conversation with your teenager
and stay effective and connected.
And yes, it's all about maintaining safety in the conversation, and that'll make sense if you actually read the book. But I mean, and these principles that are taught in this book apply to personal relationships, familial relationships, work relationships, school relationships, anywhere where there's people, basically. Yeah.
Well, conflict is kind of the common denominator that we all have. It's always going to be there.
True. Shouldn't it be love?
Well, yes, it should be love. I'm using that word should on purpose.
Yeah, well, you just shoulded me.
I just shoulded you. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But when people don't feel safe, that's what I'm talking about. They usually use silence or withdrawing
Right. Or it's fight or flight.
Right. Or violence.
Right, which is the fight part.
Yeah. And I love the World Health Organization. I have to look it up, but the World Health Organization's definition of violence. Do you know what that is?
Not off the top of my head. I think I knew it before, but, there's only so much space in my head for information like that.
Oh, my goodness.
You can hear her typing.
That's right, because she's looking it up. It's the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself or another person, or against a group or a community that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. And I think a lot of our relationships are these last three. Mm-hmm. The psychological harm, sometimes from our families of origin. Mm-hmm. Maldevelopment, especially from teachers and saying you're not going to ever be a good artist because you can't draw a thumb. Or the deprivation, I'm not going to let you have this if you don't do this for me. Right?
Right, which is quite typical.
Right. Yeah.
Nasty little behaviors.
Yeah. So anyway, here in Blueprints for Belonging, we pay attention to this definition because we want to help expand that understanding about, violence isn't just that physical aggression. Mm-hmm. It is, we have some other ways, and just, to try to help people see other ways of looking at how we might have been violent, not only to others, but to ourselves as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, that's the worst. Yes. And if you want to be kind to others, you have to first be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we might need to kind of, I've got an outgoing thought to kind of bring up to you. Mm-hmm. So belonging is both a feeling and a practice. It requires self-awareness. We have to investigate our learned patterns. We have to practice this authentic connection. We have to build those relationship skills. We have to invest in supportive communities. And we have to look at this, kind of reflect on what's working and what's not working. So, and we have this... I have to go to another place. I guess I'm hungry. Mm-hmm. Been here all day long. Where was our outgoing prompt? Here it goes. Where are you in your life here? So in your life, are you longing for deeper connection? What would belonging look like for you right now?
Right. We want you to pause and reflect on those two questions.
Right.
In your own time, of course.
Right. And if this conversation resonates with you, please subscribe to our podcast, share it with a friend, or leave us a review or a comment. It helps for us to reach others who are looking for these practical ways to build more connection in their lives.
In our next episode, we are going to explore why talking isn't the same as communicating. Oh dear, no, it's not. And how autopilot
my goodness,
patterns keep us stuck in disconnection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll introduce a little bit more about the big growth. My first step in big growth is building awareness. So we're both so glad you're here.
Yeah, we are so glad to have you here. Thank you.